Well, I was wrong about Joe Manchin. I thought he was going to hold the line. I thought he was going to represent his constituents. But Joe Manchin, in a surprise 11th hour about face, is now on board with Schumer's despicable tax increase and helping Biden's climate change agenda. Billions and billions of dollars in tax increases to fund this idiotic Green New Deal crap. And Joe Manchin caved. So why would Joe Manchin cave? Why well, maybe it can be found in some very frank, candid remarks he gave to a legendary West Virginia broadcaster named Hoppy Kercheval. I think he's in his 80s now. Hoppy's been around a long time. And everybody in West Virginia knows him. And Senator Joe Manchin said this after his stunning reversal and betrayal of his own constituents. Understand, Joe Manchin has signed on to a tax increase for the coal industry. A West Virginia senator, coal country, is taxing his own constituents after he has already said you don't do a tax increase in the middle of a recession. Well, that's exactly what Joe Manchin has done. But maybe what he admitted to Hoppy Kercheval helps explain why.
When we were working and negotiating, our staff started way back in April. And first of all, nobody in their right mind, after I had been ostracized for how long and victimized, if you will, because I killed the BBB, because the BBB was just, I think, a bad bill for our economy. It was a bad bill for our country, and it changed the trajectory of who we are as people. So I was totally opposed to that. And everybody kept saying, build back better smaller. There's no such thing as a build back better. This is truly going to be around inflation reduction. So what we did, we started talking, started negotiating, and this and that and everything else. And the bill that we had, there were some things in that bill that we were negotiating up until when the 9.1% came out. There were some things in the bill that I was concerned about that could be looked to be inflationary, inflammatory. So I told Chuck Schumer on Thursday, I said, Chuck, I want to wait. I am not satisfied with the way some of the things we have. Then we better wait and see what this inflation figures are for the month of July, because everyone was saying it's going to go down. Well, I've been hearing that since it was 6%, then went to 8%, then went to 9.1. So I told my staff after then, Chuck got mad, and he said, well, you're walking away, you're not going to do this and that. And I said, Chuck, I'm not walking away from anything. I'm just being very cautious. The people in West Virginia can't afford higher prices. They can't afford higher gasoline prices.
So what changed?
Prices,
what changed?
For energy prices. So I told my staff to start scrubbing it. I said, scrub this bill down. There can't be one thing that you can say, oh, that caused inflation.
And you can hear Hoppy Kercheval trying to say, well, what changed? Nothing changed. Other than, I guess, Manchin admitting that his family was victimized and ostracized. What does that mean? It says that at the beginning of the interview, right, guys? Let's listen to that again just for the very beginning.
When we were working and negotiating, our staff started way back in April. And first of all, nobody in their right mind, after I had been ostracized for how long and victimized, if you will, because I killed the BBB, because the BBB was just, I think,
I was ostracized and victimized. There's also a clip, part of that clip, he talks about his family being targeted. I guess it's not in that segment. Derek was going through this podcast of Hoppy Kercheval, but, there's no question they went after Joe Manchin and his family big time. Big time. And it was a complete bait and switch. And Mitch McConnell is reportedly furious after Joe Manchin promised Mitch McConnell he was not going to be on board with this debacle, with this albatross around Americans' necks. Again, you don't raise taxes in a recession. That's why they are so stupidly trying to pretend it's not a recession. We are absolutely in a recession. Inflation is strangling the American consumer. People are struggling. North, south, east, and west. And Joe Manchin wants to raise taxes on West Virginians And the coal industry? Are you kidding me? They got to him, and he caved. And the texter on the Pure Talk text line is correct. I was wrong in hoping that and believing that Joe Manchin was going to honor his word and be true to his constituents. Democrats are going to Democrat. Hey, pay attention, Republicans. This is how they roll. They stay unified in order to advance their awful agenda. Now, it doesn't matter how much it stinks for the United States, they're going to be unified. So we ought to be too.